It's all coming down to this final set, and how fitting that it's Space Station and NRG, the only major winners in North America for RLCS X, and they're going to be fighting for all the marbles, Achieves.
It's been a wild ride, a lot of back and forth between these two teams, and as I alluded to yesterday, right at the end of the show, I think it's a good thing that NRG had to play G2. They already had to play against a very physical team to get here, and Space Station, to be fair, looking like killers out there on the pitch, so I don't know what to expect.
No, you absolutely said it, Chiefs. That was the point I was going to jump into right off the bat here as we get kickoff underway. Space Station, very physical team that we saw the other day, and that's what NRG is going to have to deal with throughout this series.
And they're used to it. The G2, oh, and you see the moves already from Justin. Reynolds didn't get the best hit back, but G2 did prepare them. The G2 style of play can be very aggressive, very physical. And we even saw in the Envy series with Space Station. Space Station had gaps. You know, they stepped up on defense in quite a few moments, but also they were on the back foot quite a few times, and it was Envy shooting accuracy problems that really gave them the that extra little oomph. And I don't know if NRG is going to give them that same treatment.
Not at the same time, though. Go for it, Corelli.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the same thing for Space Station is I think they might have got a little overzealous with some of those bumps that you saw. Reynolds chasing players into the box, into the goal a lot of times. And I think Envy did prey on that a little bit, but you're right, James. That inaccuracy is not what you're going to get with NRG, especially with the way Garrett's been playing. The accuracy will come out for NRG, as we've seen in many, many series before.
Oh, that leads well into my point, though. As typical, like you say, James trying to set up another play. He's been phenomenal all week long. And NRG currently under a bit of pressure. And NRG is going to need a great series from both Garrett G in terms of the setup department, who's an absolute monster early on in the series against G2. But they're also going to need Squishy and Justin to play a strong defensive game. And that's really where they were both absolutely excelling 100%.
Now, all season long, all RLCS X, Squishy has had clutch defensive stance. He's so smart when he's that last man back, figuring out how to buy that extra second or two that makes all the difference. And now we're seeing NRG take the ball into the Space Station half. Justin, the light tap out. Squishy on the rebound. Save from Sypical. Garrett waiting. The pass doesn't come out from Justin. Justin trying to make something happen, and we see a long clear from Reynolds.
Dicey situation actually for both teams. Looking to see that physicality come out from Space Station once again. Haven't seen it too much here in the first couple minutes or so. NRG doing a good job at least getting away from them. It's tough to hit the Space Station players unless they hit each other. And Squishy trying to win a challenge between two players on the Space Station side. Space Station do get away.
And that was a smart play from Squishy all the way back on the ceiling. You saw he was sizing up the defense, finding a way to get it out. Now we see a pass double commit from Arsenal and Reynolds. Sypical in position. Will poke it by Garrett. Squishy with a tip. Arsenal racing to it. Sypical upfield. Justin.
Wow. He's just more concerned with not letting Space Station slow down pace of play in that midfield, which is what Sypical tries to do right here to regain possession. And NRG, no, that's where Space Station really start to build the pressure when they get that trap and catch that ball in the hood, and then they get that player out in front of the ball, and NRG knows that's the play that they need to stop. So they're trying to close the gaps as quick as possible.
And glancing at the clock, we're already 3 minutes through this first game. It has flown by.
The pace of play has been shifting multiple times here in the game. Started off a little bit quicker. It's been almost coming to a halt here as Squishy tries to navigate the sideline. Neither team really getting the upper hand on each other. There's been a couple quality shots from both sides, but nothing really that dangerous to test anyone in net.
See Squishy beating Reynolds to the ball. Reynolds far out. 2v3 situation here for a moment. Squishy going for the backboard. Sypical will have a clear opportunity, but he missed. And now we'll see NRG try to capitalize.
Squishy didn't actually believe he was going to have a chance on it. He definitely gave up on it halfway through, but at the same time, he really didn't have all the boost to really make the play, so could make the argument one way or the other. But at the end of the day, Space Station get away unscathed. About 60 seconds left, and game one up for grabs, no doubt.
Garrett over one, the block over another. Couldn't get the double, and Reynolds will clear it off the goal line. Justin, however, there to poke it back to the corner. Backboard pass is shut down by Sypical, but it's out to Garrett. Gonna follow this ball up, going for the 50 off the ceiling, back to the midfield. Justin will catch it, flicks it around Sypical, off the wall, Justin the solo play!
Just spinning around the defense of Space Station Gaming. Look at the cuts, look at the control that he has, and Arsenal has just no shot getting to that ball. Justin playing around like a surgeon in the Space Station side. Great work with 40 seconds left.
Justin, we saw him on the highlight goals this morning, catching that ball perfectly on the speed flip. He was able to turn it around. He does it again there. He landed to get that perfect hit, but now a save opportunity. Squishy will get credited. Double tap from Garrett. That was a key touch.
Much needed one indeed. NRG was kind of starting to jump all over each other right there on the goal line. Without that double tap from Garrett G, who knows what could have happened.
Still the attack oncoming. Reynolds tips it over to Arsenal. Nice touch. Justin off the ceiling. Arsenal lets it bounce. Garrett will come in. Another defensive double tap will push it downfield. It hits the corner. And Reynolds will have a chance to keep this ball in play. He's got Arsenal in support. Arsenal tips it off the backboard, got by one defender. That shot won't be good. It hits the ground, but Justin, he gave him the opportunity.
Wow.
What an ending.
And for Space Station, for NRG, light flashing before their eyes here with that miss.
Even saw the
Space Station just out of position for no one to follow up. But good chance there from Space Station. That was coming all the way from their own back wall to create that chance. That's about as good as you're going to get, especially off of a mistake there from Justin. But, you know, we've talked about it multiple times with NRG. NRG says it themselves. And I think it's no truer than in this competition, this tournament so far, with the performances that we've seen from Garrett, with the performances that we've seen from Justin, the individual efforts is what's willing NRG to a lot of these game wins. And in this game in particular, Justin, with that great work in the box in the corner there to work around the Space Station players by himself and earn the game-winning goal.
And that one really felt like a bit of a tester, you know? Like everyone kind of trying different approaches. Space Station not really going full bore in terms of what we think they're capable of on offense with the physicality and the aggressiveness. NRG not really playing as tight offensively and close to each other with real solid and fast follow-up out of the midfield as well to try and build that pressure in the midfield. It really was just a let's see what type of defense we're going to be up against, and Justin is inches away from finishing the good job. Garrett G going to fake this for Squishy, and it's going to tie up Sypical in the net. The guy had no chance.
The poor guy is watching this, and to be fair, he made a great save there on the goal line. And how do you read that? Garrett could have a second touch. Squishy's waiting in case he doesn't put it away, and for Sypical, that's about as good as you're going to get on an effort like that. NRG quickly up by one.
You need better than doctorate level reading at that point to try to make sense of that play. NRG. And then even in the last game, it was so well played. You saw Sypical with some great stops at the midfield. Even Reynolds setting up on that sidewall at the midfield, keeping NRG back. That first game, the ebb and flow, you could see it out on the field. And it all boiled down to Justin. Justin was the difference in that first game, the solo play. It's what allowed NRG to get the win, and he also opened up that chance in this game. You saw the shot. He wasn't able to score, but when you've got the triple threat like NRG, it's going to be tough for anyone. But Space Station, another triple threat team. The pass down. Sypical will have Reynolds in the middle. He's waiting. And a demo from Arsenal. This is looking good for Space Station. The setup, Reynolds will finish it. The demo sealing the opportunity, and Space Station are right back in it.
James, you said Arsenal, and he's been playing a phenomenal game, to be quite honest. The guy's been winning challenges out of his own half, setting the ball up beautifully, and finishes the job there with a demo on the goal line and set up for Reynolds.
I was about to talk about Arsenal as well, because, you know, the way he played in the previous series against Envy, it was lights out. And here in that first game, I felt like he was a little bit quiet. It's good to see him get involved, at least downfield. I think that's where Space Station shine, especially as a point man. You know, throwing that ball up to Arsenal is where I feel like Space Station can shine.
Yeah, Arsenal is a player that gives you options because he can go for those fakes and then the dribbles, those shots you don't expect. Oh, that's a miss, though. Justin, airborne. You don't want to give him this chance.
Beautiful.
Over the defender. An isolation play for Justin, and that is not what the doctor ordered for Space Station.
my, oh my. What a dunk from Justin, and perfectly positioned on that challenge, because either way, Justin is keeping that ball on the Space Station side, even if it doesn't go into the net. So well executed from him, and that comes off a mistake, and NRG, they jump all over it. And that's been a staple of NRG gameplay through all of the rosters. Capitalizing on just the smallest mistakes from the opposition and turning into opportunity.
Reddle's going to want that one back. I believe it was him at midfield that wasn't able to get the touch. Squishy. And we see 2 jump for it. Arsenal going to go for the ground pinch. Well,
good idea.
To the side, but he's out of boost. Won't be able to get back very quickly either. Typical.
Oh, keep missing.
Denying the corner boost, though.
So strange from Space Station not quite having the command when they have really been on lock when it's come to quality first touches for themselves all throughout the week. And just a little bit off here in games 1 and 2, it would seem.
We're seeing NRG get quite a few of these balls. You even see Squishy landing and getting that slight tip to keep possession. Seems like this is a no-fly zone for Space Station. Aerial dominance so far for NRG.
A lot of individual efforts being shot at that Space Station defense, and now Garrett just pokes it free. It's a free goal for Garrett. Great shot, and up 2-0, or 2 goals rather, for NRG.
Yeah, it's typical here. He's trying to push forward because he sees his teammate get demoed in front of him. So he's thinking, well, I don't want to let NRG start the dribble there, but he doesn't know the exact line to take through that smoke screen because he can't see the ball or the players behind it. So he's just trying to fill a gap off the demo, and unfortunately it gets by him, and Arsenal doesn't have the time to respawn.
Another shot opportunity, and you also think that he must have thought Garrett might have tried to chip it around to his left because he flipped left. And if he flips right, he's probably blocking that shot. Slow start for Space Station. A demo from Squishy. He's going to go for another one. Typical dodges it and gets the quality 50. But the midfield defense locking down. Another dunk from Justin. Typical, a light tap. Will get help from Reddles, and it's a pass to Arsenal, who booms it towards net. Garrett will hit it wide.
Oh, man.
You can see the respect given to Justin when he's in the air. That's multiple dunks, multiple fakes he's gotten under Space Station players to create opportunity, to create goals. This one's going to come off the back wall, and Arsenal there to at least poke it away. But right now, NRG, Justin especially, is looking real good here in game 2.
I mean, you pick anybody. Garrett, fake. Squishy, he's been making amazing defensive touches. You see the double commit again. The shot from Garrett, another double commit. Space Station on life support right now, trying to get out, and they do. Reddles, that tap won't be enough. Another demo on the back line. Garrett's going to force the issue. Squishy can't get that block. Justin with the mid boost, slowing it down. Arsenal tips it over. The shot is good. Arsenal keeps hopes alive. And you see, there was no clearance. He perfectly chipped that over Justin.
And it was a gorgeous chip. And Garrett G, he gets caught in the classic 1v1 scenario. You're caught near post with the guy on the same side, and Arsenal just picked it up too quick. Strong shot to the back post. Space Station got a chance, but they missed. Arsenal misses the boost. Arsenal missed the boost. Oh,
and look at the pull shot, Corelli. The pull shot for the goal. Look at this.
Justin just got bopped into the ball by Garrett. He's shooting the player and the ball, and he still scores.
Garrett doesn't get anything for that. So, you know, it's not fair.
How do you put that one down the stat sheet?
Was that count?
You know, technically Justin scored it, but we all know the truth.
It's an assist.
Space Station, they were back into it thanks to that heroic play from Arsenal. Beautiful touch. And that kickoff, I mean, you see it all the time. Those kickoff goals can be all the difference in a game. It was here.
It's got to sting, to be sure. But unfortunately, Space Station don't have too much time to really dwell on it. And I know we've been talking about NRG. They've been playing really well, but I don't know. I kind of just parked my camera the rest of that game on Arsenal's perspective, because he really has been a phenomenal show right here for Space Station. They're down 2 games, but I really do think he is playing an awesome series. Of course, right there at the end, he misses the boost and isn't able to actually make the defensive stand on the kickoff to keep things going. But, I mean, Arsenal's been playing incredibly well. He's got great timing. He's had solid positioning. He's winning challenges when he needs to. He's making big clears. So he's definitely the guy that's got it all together right now for Space Station. Just needs a little more help from Reddles and Sypical.
Look, you say that, and I agree. But only when he's had the opportunity to. NRG have been suffocating this Space Station squad, and I don't know if it was a lack of because there's been a couple bad touches or missed touches by Space Station. I think NRG are certainly winning the boost game on the Space Station side because Space Station have hardly able to break out from their own side. It's just been all NRG, and that's why you're seeing a lot of Justin plays run free because Space Station just simply don't have the resources to challenge as fast as they normally would.
And when you double commit as well, it just digs you further down that hole. And it seems like Space Station, I don't know if it's a conscious decision, but seems like they're trying to get this game more on the ground, whereas NRG wants to keep this an aerial game.
That's definitely where Space Station's bread and butter really is, like we talked about at the start of this series. I mean, when they get that trap on the ball and start that dribble off of the midfield line just by creating space with a real quality catch on the ball, and they get stuck in and get that player around the goal line, and they've got such great timing on their ground approach that it's so tough to handle for a lot of defenses.
It's the difference between these two teams is very, very obvious, very palpable when you watch the gameplay. You see NRG, a lot of air dribbles into there, a lot of flip resets attempted. Space Station, a lot of balls played downfield with intention or on the ground to each other, working the corners of NRG a bit more. And that's been the big difference. But Space Station haven't been able to play that game. It's just been NRG firing multiple shots at their side and having Space Station just be backed up for most of the game.
And even there, look at how hard that ball was hit towards the backboard. Arsenal played it well, got the corner boost, but Justin, another air dribble. He's going for the double.
Oh my gosh.
Down to Garrett. What do you do if you're Reynolds?
What do you do if you're Reynolds? You see him get this nice soft catch and then that extra little pop-up high. You got to try and defend the top of the net. It's your only choice. You believe he can score that. And it just kicks off the wall and you're toasted.
Clean. Justin is clean today. In all 3 of these games so far, I know we're only a minute and a half into this one, his touch has been superb. Everything on target, everything in his lap, almost getting a second effort there from the right side, and still NRG.
That's a big win, though. Reynolds, the shot's gonna go wide. You saw the respawn came on the side of the field that NRG would have wanted. But you think, I mean, we'll have to take another look, but that seemed like a scoring chance. Squishy in the corner has to bail out. Reynolds up to Arsenal. Arsenal gets bumped off the ball. And Squishy will take it to the corner. Gets the boost and clears it up over Sypical. Squishy going for the solo play. Reynolds narrowly dodged that air demo.
Space Station, definitely like you were talking about, Corelli, really getting boxed in more and more, slowly but surely. And now it's just that gap close is so good from NRG. And those secondary challenges, you see Garrett G get the first one, and more importantly, the second one in that corner. And now a third one to stick it on the SSG side again. Follow through, and Arsenal's going to pull that one off the line, but NRG just don't want to let go. They got a python grip on.
Garrett staying right beside that ball. Yeah, Corelli, the challenges for NRG are ruthless.
They're just winning all of them. I mean, sometimes Space Station aren't even getting a touch on the ball. It's just a free clear, and there's been a lot of get out of jail free cards here for NRG with the clears. But here comes Reynolds. Can he make something happen? Looking for the back wall, and another solid clear for NRG. Sypical wants to play it back. NRG will still keep it away.
Oh, nice fake
there. Justin getting a piece of it. Sypical coming in for the shot. Off the ceiling and down. And a clear out from Garrett. The shot. Arsenal. Can he get back? He will pinch it to the side. Space Station coming close. This is a 1-goal game. Space Station. And this is an important game. Could be the opportunity to shift the momentum in the series. Reynolds taking it to the air. And Garrett will hit that off to the side. Arsenal off the ceiling. Going far post. It's too far.
That was money, though. I mean, Arsenal actually caught all of NRG flat-footed there on the goal line. Sypical was also over there waiting. he just didn't really know exactly what to expect from that Arsenal approach, and he couldn't get up in time for it.
Under a minute left to go. Still just a single goal separating these teams. A light shot. Garrett had pre-jumped and was able to get a weak clear out. Gets the demo on the last man back. And a big 50 from Squishy in the backfield. Another 50. And Justin will come in.
Oh, my. And you see the quality of challenge, the quality of touch coming out from NRG and Space Station. They're finding a little bit more space. This one's up to Arsenal. Can he get the touch on target? He will, and he'll tie it up with 30 seconds left.
Product of just needing to size up a shot, but Arsenal just hits it so square. I mean, Squishy knows it can go anywhere, and at 74 miles an hour, just not enough time from how tight Arsenal put that right at him. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, that was a textbook counterattack. Reynolds setting up Sypical for that hard pass over to Arsenal. You can't do it any better than that. The Space Station, they're showing that they came to play. Sypical, another challenge. Space Station looking to win this in regulation rather. Don't want to see overtime. Justin staying behind it, kicks up the corner. Sypical, good speed. Awkward ball for Garrett. He does get a tip, but it's still airborne in front of net. No one's there.
Wow.
And it's a good thing for NRG because I don't think anyone was in a good position to defend a shot that would have came.
Yeah.
Space Station, I feel like, are finding more and more space all of a sudden. I think they're playing to the speed of NRG here at the end of this game. This is the closest they've come to a win here in this series, certainly within grasp.
Saw Squishy trying to fake challenge there. It didn't really work out, but Garrett, or Justin rather, had a nice challenge in the backfield. However, Space Station, they're pressing. Backboard pass. The double tap doesn't come out. Uh-oh. Close call for NRG, but Space Station, they're still attacking.
NRG kind of struggling to find boost on their own half, and that's why there's that little bit of extra space more often than not, and Space Station doing their best to keep hold of it.
And that was a very important boost that Squishy just got in the corner. He still has about half of the tank left. Justin, second effort on the ball. What will he do? Ground pinch, trying to mask that flip reset. Arsenal taking his time. That's a nice pass. Squishy out of boost. He gets dunked. It's off the post, and Garrett will clear it out. And he gets the 50 downfield.
Wow. Squishy. An opportunity. There's Justin as well. NRG trying to crash the ball, but good work there from Space Station to at least poke it away, but only for the moment. No one on the left side. And Space Station happy to collect.
And you saw that pass. Garrett was hoping Justin would turn there. And if he does, that could have been the setup. Justin on the ball again, tapping it down. Sypical predicted it. And Reynolds will get a shot after that.
Sypical's all over at the moment. He just knows exactly what NRG's plan is. It would seem another fake, and it's going to tie up Squishy on the goal line. Sypical turning into a wizard.
Look at these fakes. He never hits the ball. He never hits the ball. He faked it all the way. And it allows that ball to roll in front of the net. NRG panics. Space Station confirm. They take the game. That was so smart from Sypical.
And we had hints of that in the first game, Corelli, with the back and forth. Sypical is so difficult to get by in the midfield. NRG was finding ways past him, but on that last play, that last series of events, you saw Sypical predict where that hit was going to come from Justin as he was going for that follow-up double tap off the ceiling into a clear. Sypical was already there. He shut down the clear and was able to help Space Station march downfield and get that scoring opportunity. Sypical, even though he didn't score it, was so key to that play.
And he was key to the previous one as well, throwing that ball up to Arsenal. That was great work. And for Space Station, like I said, I think they're picking up the pace. I think they're starting to figure out what NRG are throwing at them. And luckily for them, they have plenty of games and plenty of series ahead to start to match this NRG squad. But I think it really does start by limiting the chances on the ball for NRG. And Space Station did it at the end of that game.
And we're seeing a dribble now. Garrett cutting off the pass to the mid.
Did an excellent job of it. Pretty much the whole back half of that previous game. Definitely a change in approach, right? It's that kind of just chuck it down to the other end of the field and then make sure that instead of NRG closing the gaps to the challenges, it's you guys. And we're more than happy to stick that ball in that NRG corner because, like you pointed out, James, you know, it really was NRG having to work overtime as they get tied up again on the 2-on-2 transition. One tried to cut down the challenge angle here. With Squishy just trying to get in the way. And, I mean, Garrett G's kind of just frozen with Reddle's approach there. He can't get a good line on that ball.
And that was a smart play from Reynolds as well. As soon as he lost control of the ball, what he's doing is getting out ahead of the ball, cutting off Garrett's approach, and it worked. Garrett was frozen there for a moment, and that opened up the space that was required to get that goal. His first touch from Reynolds made Justin go for it. That shot, it's on target. NRG will get a quick response.
Reciprocal. Oh, he's stealing corner boost, and Arsenal's technically the third man back there. And he just got surprised with how strong that touch came off. So Sipical trying to get aggressive and start that boost steal game, ends up throwing his teammate kind of out in no man's land at just the wrong time.
It's surprising too because Space Station are normally pretty conservative with their third man. They keep them deep a lot of plays and to catch a lot of those long shots from the far side. But right, as you said, taking the boost away, trying to get aggressive, comes back to bite him.
I don't think anyone was expecting Justin to be able to go from his backboard and we'll see a demo right into a goal.
Well, it doesn't matter if you gave one up if you're going to take it right back. And there's Reddles out of the corner. Again. Such great understanding. It's actually very hard for Reddles there to understand the timing of when Justin's going to go for that, right? You kind of just have this ingrained sense of, okay, the ball's going to bounce off that corner and it's going to be around this time. And it's like not looking at the ball and still being able to understand the line the defender's going to take. Oh, it's incredible. And what a challenge. Oh, it's no bar.
Oh, and Garrett missed. He slowed it. Arsenal slowed down the play, was trying to get the change up, which was the right call, but he put it high.
Well, Arsenal's was the most understandable, but the one from Reddles, I don't know, panic shot, got too far over it. Garrett's trying to work his magic in the box now. Wow. And Reddles has to come save the day. That one pokes off him again, comes out to Garrett, and it's pinched away.
Oh my God.
Chaos on both sides of the field, and nobody comes up with a goal.
The circus there for a moment. If Garrett gets that flip reset, though, achieved, you saw him going for it. He's probably scoring.
Yeah, but he still turned it into a great effort by not getting it with that hard chip to the left. It was just now it was NRG's turn to poke it off the bar a couple times as Reddle's going to cut that one off, diving back from the midfield line. That was an interesting couple of sequences, to say the least.
And Squishy out of boost. Got help from Garrett. Arsenal trying to keep the pressure on Garrett with the demo on the last man, and Justin skipped it off the post.
The instant shot as well almost worked out. This one's just going to get in, though. Arsenal will find the transition, catch him on the counterattack, and Space Station up by 2.
Garrett
G. Had to be perfect on that.
Exactly. Had to be perfect. I mean, it's all about the lead because Squishy's the one trying to get there and jam that ball in the Space Station half and try and get that type of pressure going at the midfield line. But when you don't make any contact on the ball, you leave yourself open to that strong counterattack, and it's all dependent on how that player that's downfield receives it. And Reynolds did so with great effect.
And what a valuable third man Sipical proves to be time and time again. He's had these passes from the back that have set up Arsenal for a pair of wonderful counterattack goals. But the passes need to be perfect, and they have been.
Reynolds as well getting more and more involved, I feel like, on the offense, whether it's on the ball or off it. We talked about his importance in the NV series. He's coming alive here against NRG, getting a lot of demos, disrupting that defense, and allowing Space Station to get on the attack.
But you saw Garrett giving up that ball early. The demo bought him some time. Another demo from Garrett. Another demo from Garrett, going for the extermination.
Typical, actually very smart there with that double demo coming through. He had to. Oh no, another bump. Oh my goodness, they still can't score. What do you got to do to buy a goal, man?
We'll see if they can do it here. Justin will go for another demo. NRG cranking up the demos to 11.
I don't even know if that last one was on purpose. It looked like Reynolds just drove right into him, but still a minute left to play.
Jeez,
another demo from just hunting down the Space Station players now, but that's a bump on Garrett. No one there to capitalize, presumably because of all the disruption from NRG. Space Station couldn't even get downfield, but hold on a second. Sypical's trying to catch out Justin, and he almost does so.
Oh, nice
Space Station, that's a great pass to Sypical, but couldn't get around it.
They had NRG dead there on the goal line, to be quite honest. They were all looking at that person from the right-hand side of the pitch and totally lost track of the guy waiting on the opposite end, and thankfully, redirect never came through. NRG, slim chance here, 2 to find with 30 seconds, and Space Station playing great defense.
Space Station shutting down opportunity after opportunity. That's a nice corner bounce, though. Almost got a pull shot, this time using Space Station. Time ticking away, and a long clear. Squishy will pop it up, go for it himself. And these final seconds will tick away. Space Station had a bit of a slow start, but they are anything but slow right now.
And they, again, have slowly been cranking it up. I truly believe they just needed a couple calibration games to figure out what NRG are going to be throwing at them. And to be fair, I think NRG clearly adapted to something because they started demoing Space Station quite a bit, and I think that started to pay off. Unfortunately, it was too little too late. A couple of goal line stands from Space Station keep them in it here in this game.
And that sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it, Achieves? A couple of goal line stands from Space Station keeping them in it.
Never heard that before, ever. But this was an excellent turnaround from Space Station. You know, you weren't like super sold on their Game 3 win, but then they come back in here and are able to execute pretty much the same game plan in Game 4 as well. You gotta love it, to be honest. Everyone got a little bit lucky with everyone hitting it off the crossbar there in the middle of that game, but Sypical, Arsenal, and Reddles, talk about converting when NRG gives you just that little bit of space. I mean, it's not like NRG was making huge glaring mistakes per se. Probably the worst one was Squishy going up as trying to get that aggressive block as that third man. And even still, if that counterattack wasn't perfect, NRG probably would have had a chance to save it. So Space Station's having to execute to turn in a lot of these goals.
In those first couple games when NRG was able to pull down the wins, I think we highlighted the fact that Reddles, he wasn't really showing up in those first few games. In these last two, he has been such a huge part of them.
Yeah, it's amazing how big of a factor he is on this team, because I think a lot of credit goes over to Arsenal and Sypical because of what they can do on the ball, and Reynolds is certainly capable of that, but his off-the-ball work is what creates a lot of those opportunities for Arsenal and Sypical to have those moments.
And, you know, when you're an Arsenal and you love to dribble, you love to go for fakes, you're Sypical, you love going for those shots, the double taps off the backboard, space is invaluable. And that is what Reynolds brings. Those demos and his aggression open up space for them to work. Squishy will leave that, taking a scenic route around that ball.
I think he just noticed that Space Station was rotating through the back, and if Garrett G took a line to that ball, he was going to get demoed, and if Squishy rotated out, then Space Station was going to have a free counterattack. So Squishy, I think, was just trying to, in an instant, try and reposition himself to have a second look at that ball.
Justin moves it up. Garrett beaten by Reddles in the corner. A demo into a clear. Squishy working with what he had. And another tight start to the game. And we've seen so far in this series how neck and neck it can be. These periods of time where you have the ebb and flow, the push and pull. Each team wrestling for that position. All right, now, Space Station are closing in on the pin. NRG locked down in their half, but a demo could open up some space for Justin. Justin,
here he comes,
tapping it out. Arsenal gets beat. You thought he did for a moment there, Cheats.
It's close. And Garrett G trying to chip one off the wheels, and no follow through from NRG. Trying to be perhaps a little more conservative after giving up a couple counterattacks in the previous game. And still neck and neck, and I honestly, you wouldn't expect anything different. Justin trying to squeeze one into a real tight window, and Squishy's going to come through as Space Station, they get caught in the unavoidable trap of you have to dribble it across the net, and there's only one angle you can take.
That was a smart challenge from Squishy. Kind of reading that play as a little chaotic coming off the post. Ball's getting behind that last defender in Space Station, but still able to carve it out. Great challenge from Squishy to at least make sure that one was going to pinch into the net if a Space Station player got a piece of it. NRG, I was about to say, you know, Space Station are a team that if they are able to play at their pace of play, it's over for the opposition. And I felt like in this game, they have been playing at the Space Station pace of play, and NRG have struggled to keep a hold of things. But NRG create a little bit of chaos and capitalize there.
And we saw that in the G2 series. NRG, they can make those adjustments, even mid-game.
Oh,
that
no.
Light touch, but it might be enough to keep the ball out of the net. Squishy scoring this one.
Oh, no. Was this Reddles or Arsenal?
Arsenal missing around Reddles.
I knew I needed a second look.
That
disappointing, to say the least.
Well, if you're Arsenal, you know, we've been in these situations before when you're playing where you got ball cam on. You can't tell if anyone's behind you. You're looking over your shoulder. And if it's such a bang play. Yeah, it's a bang play. Arsenal probably thought he was the last one back.
And it's just panic too. I mean, even with comms and everything else, just the panic of knowing NRG breathing down your neck there, having to make that save. I mean, it's just, that's a tough situation.
Even if you know Reynolds is behind you, you saw Garrett G go right past you and you think the demo's coming through and you got to get back. It's tough spot for sure.
Justin backwards, hitting it up. Oh, did he get the flipper? He's got him.
Oh my goodness.
The World Championship or the North American Championship all on the line. And he's pulling out new tricks.
You hit him with that one? Come on, man. What are you supposed to do?
Just laid him out flat on the mat right there in front of his own net. What a way to put on a show to score your third goal. And I said it, man. I felt like Justin, he was playing so good in those first few games. He went a little quiet in that Space Station win. But all of a sudden coming alive, that was a missed shot there from Garrett. That one surely would have gone in. For NRG, a healthy cushion here at 3 goals.
I feel like Justin, you know, so many times champion in North America, you know, during their World Championship win in Spain, you know, he might have felt a little bit snubbed about not getting the MVP. And, you know, I think he's really just saying, no one's taking it away from me this time.
Oh, he almost did it again. He really likes getting that little pop and then popping it over the next, baiting in that defender, and then just being so fast to pop it up over them.
Yeah, and he's using air roll to perfection, able to jump and then immediately get back down to the ground. Squishy out of boost, but going makes the defense panic. Garrett, center ball, and you see Arsenal and Civical both jumping for it. Arsenal, that is good touch. He did get the ball out into a dangerous spot, but Garrett first there. Reynolds with a wave dash will catch it on the dribble. Can't get it past Squishy. And the final seconds tick away. NRG, you know, in this series, this is a tug of war. This is a tug of war. 2 games to NRG. Space Station answers back. And now NRG will stop the momentum for Space Station and move to series point.
That was fantastic work there from Justin to score that 3rd goal. I know NRG were already up by 2 goals. Squishy had done great to confirm a lot of attempts on net there for NRG, but the work from NRG here and Justin in particular is just on another level. And NRG, you know, we talked about Space Station being able to play their game and their pace. This was the NRG pace, and you can see the difference.
Tactical timeout being called for Space Station, and Achieves, you know, what do you think Chrome is saying right now? What do you think Space Station's trying to do?
Well, you know, if you're Chrome, I think if you're Space Station, you know, your only real thing is you can't afford to be as aggressive with that second man. I think you're actually better off giving that little bit of extra space to NRG on transition if you have 2 people to play defense. I think that's the adjustment I would make, because you don't want to put anybody in the one-on-one against anybody on NRG, I don't think. So I think that Space Station's feeling good about not particularly feeling the physical effects. Even with NRG getting a lot of those demos somewhere in the series, it never really felt like it was making too much of a difference. It opened up a couple opportunities, but in that last game, wasn't really a factor. So you're feeling confident in that regard. And you're feeling like you can still generate chances. It's just a matter of that challenge to stall that NRG counterattack. And a little more stability on the defensive end, I think, is going to go a long way.
And Corelli, you know, we kind of saw at the beginning when NRG had that space, we were seeing solo plays up high in the air. And we did see Spacestation make some adjustments, but this is, like Garrett said in his interview, with this best of set, it's all about those adjustments and how teams will tweak their play to get past their opponent. And Space Station and NRG, that's proving to be true, even in this series so far.
And, you know, I don't know how deep to dig into this, but there was a lot of talk between Chrome and Sypical there in the beginning when we got that shot, you know, that third man. So talking a lot about defense there and what Space Station can do to maybe, you know, in my eyes, push up that line a little bit to make sure that NRG doesn't have that free space. I mean, Justin has been able to run around your defense quite a bit in this series.
See, that shows the difference between Corelli and me. I'll go play passive if he'll go play aggressive.
Well, it's tough to tell. You know, it's if you believe in your defense, you can go for the counters. But Garrett G is all offense.
Well, unlucky. Everyone on Space Station in the same corner as Reddles just gets a poke off the corner and has no follow-up, so everyone's kind of like, excuse me, pardon me, gotta get out of your way. And Garrett G's like, thank you very much. That's a free goal.
Through the dance floor. Garrett G dunking everybody out there.
And not the way you want to start coming out of a tactical timeout, instantly giving up the first goal here. See Sypical maybe make amends as he almost got that NRG last man. And Space Station, we want to see those changes, but NRG just might not even let them into the game at this point.
And that was such an important goal as well. I mean, it wasn't the most beautiful goals, but this is for that first series. Demo on the back line. Reddles doing some work.
Score it.
And there's the pass. Oh, just off.
And what can you say? I mean, that one's got to be put on target. Well executed there on the pass. Good contact on the ball. Just not on target. Space Station, they're going to get only a few of those. You've got to make them dangerous.
It's the idea from Reddles as well, right? He's the one who gets that demo on the third man. You see two players from NRG push up on offense. It's not about being conservative. It's about trying to have that support. And so Reddles gets that demo on the third man, wheels right back up the wall, says, hit me, I'm here. And Space Station hits the execution. It's just the shot, such a high degree of difficulty. Yeah, it's open, but it's happening at such a high speed. You got to be perfect.
And you got to power through the demo and then be ready to take that shot. A lot of adjustments required for that play. See the dribble coming out from Arsenal, waiting to go airborne. Justin will tip it back. You see Reddles in reverse. But he does win it by Garrett. Doing work again. Wow. Reddles, the tip of the spear, was almost able to find that fatal blow.
I can't believe he was able to navigate into the NRG box there so easily. NRG did not fill in that gap that Garrett left. That's a good shot from Squishy, and Sypical was able to turn it away.
Arsenal, he was upfield. That was an important challenge there from Reddles. They're still not out of the woods just yet. Squishy going for the pinch in the corner, kicks out to Garrett. Garrett, corner pass to himself, wave dashing along the wall. Justin quickly into support.
Oh, boy.
And you see Squishy, the hesitation there. Wasn't quite sure if he'd beat Arsenal to the ball. Reddles up against Justin. It's bouncing for Garrett. Will boom it to the corner. It bounces down. Back to Garrett, and he couldn't get the shot. If he connects, that could have been the second for NRG.
Whoa. Reddles again with the demo as well. It's going to put the pressure on Garrett G. And Reddles, oh, you said it, James, tip of the spear. He's putting the pressure on NRG. And Corelli, you mentioned it earlier in the series as well, the off-ball play, but nobody cares about that. Squishy's scoring shots from the corner.
Oh, and you see that the play here from Arsenal, he had only one pad. He's got Garrett G zooming in, and there was a bit of panic. And he put that ball out there.
And surely Arsenal did not mean to just play that into the corner and to bounce directly out towards the middle. I'm wondering, because it looked like he tried to pick it up. He kind of got smushed under the ball. So a poor touch.
Like he was trying to make the touch and get the boost steal.
Yeah.
Trying to do too much there.
He's trying to jump with the ball, and it just didn't get it. That's a fake, though, and a good shot here from Reynolds. Yeah. Will get through. Space Station on the board.
Felt this one was going to happen as soon as you see Garrett G get punched off that ball. The demo comes through on the goal line as well, and Garrett G trying to recover gets faked out as well, and Squishy's just like, guys, I don't want to look at this shot coming my way because it's Reynolds, and he put a bomb in the top left.
The overpower shot. Blasted it. Nice first touch from Garrett. Second touch going for the 50. It's off the ceiling and down. Justin will get a piece of it. Reynolds has Sipical upfield. And Reynolds will head it back. Garrett with full boost now. Flip reset. Fakes it by Arsenal. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, he's not Justin. He dropped it.
You were holding your breath for a moment there. Ended up not working out too well for NRG. Justin up. Has Squishy upfield. Rebound opportunity. It's bouncing high. Arsenal quickly past Garrett. Justin up high. Now on the wall waiting. Arsenal tips that out to Reynolds. Hits it high. Reynolds, good touch around Squishy. Garrett has to be good off the backboard. A nice little touch from Squishy. That was important to get it by the midfield setup for SSG.
Look at Reynolds. It's that off-ball work.
He's just chasing.
You mentioned. You can't go close the gap on my team. You're going to have to go around me first, and Arsenal's trying to score, and Garrett G is going to scheme it off the wall. Justin needs to find some distance here as Arsenal trying to put the pressure on Garrett G, and again, NRG forced to just dump the ball away. SSG likely with the last couple of chances here.
First series coming down to these final seconds. Space Station has to keep it airborne. Reynolds will pop it. Sipical off the side. He keeps it alive. Taking it up the wall. Arsenal circling. Arsenal. And that will touch. NRG escape with the series win.
Wow. And NRG, they played well in the beginning, had to adjust to what Space Station was throwing at them here and came out with a good game plan. They got chased around a little bit by Reynolds, but in the end come out on top. Good execution on a lot of these plays, especially when Space Station were throwing some rockets here in this game at the NRG side. A good using that point man downfield from Space Station just didn't come up with the goals they expected. Look at the shots. 8 shots for Space Station, but only 1 goal.
And there were rockets on both sides. I mean, you see these chances where the defense is barely tipping it. The average speed of this ball, it's got to be up there compared to what you normally see.
Average shot miles per hour, 70 plus. We're pretty used to about 60 from just about anywhere. But you're right. They're absolutely smacking it when they're going for the net. And you have to be quite honest. Everyone's playing some stingy defense. Even that shot from Squishy, that second goal. I mean, Sipical's got a lot of that net locked down, and it all mostly came down to placement. And even still, even if it's placed well, it still needs to have the power to make sure to beat anyone who can come back through. And NRG's having to work hard. They get 4. But they're having to work real hard. Space Station's not making it easy.
They really aren't. And it's coming down to those little adjustments. And you're seeing a lot of looks from NRG. You're seeing the solo plays, the passing plays, the demos. And Space Station, they made adjustments on their own. So you can tell that this is going to be a battle. So NRG, they end up barely getting through those final seconds to close out the series, but they get it nonetheless. 1 series away now from claiming complete victory for the North American region. Will Space Station force that 3rd series, or will NRG take all the marbles? We'll find out after the break. We saw some of the adjustments come out mid-series between NRG and Space Station, and we saw the tactical timeout. Chrome talking to Sipical. Now, they've had plenty of time to go to the drawing board and figure things out. And so we're going to have to keep our eyes, Chiefs, on Space Station to see what kind of adjustments they have in store.
And we definitely had a pretty solid approach. Reynolds with a lot of off-ball work and forcing NRG to be aware on that midfield line, lest they give up that space that Space Station so desperately craves to get the offense rolling. If that continues, it could be a tough second series for them.
I think coming into this series too, Reynolds has said that something that Space Station is working on is getting Sipical a little bit more involved, especially downfield. And I think we've seen sparks of that. We haven't seen that completely, and I'm interested to see if that's another big thing that Space Station's working on, because you know when he's on the ball, magic can happen.
Magic happening for Justin. We saw him be the key factor in a couple games. You remember back early on, he had this solo play to get an early game win. And all 6 of these players out there on the field have that capability.
I mean, you can talk about Garrett's performance in their last series, or last set, rather, and what he's done. And you even saw it early on here in the previous series where he was on the ball quite a bit, getting into those air dribbles and being threatening on the Space Station side. So there's a lot of weapons, really, for both sides, but NRG have certainly shown their weapons a bit more. They flex their guns.
Here's the one thing you should probably consider. You didn't even really have the same level of impact from Garrett G and Squishy. Obviously, you had Justin popping off in that first series, and he's going to score another. Oh, no, it's not. It's off the bar, down and out. Thought that one was going to ping in as Garrett G floats one over to Squishy, but that's the one thing you should be wary of if you're Space Station. I don't think NRG still hit 100% yet.
Always room for improvement. You really feel that way about both teams.
Yeah.
They are capable of getting in that extra gear. And in this game, the first game in the second series, more push and pull, a tug of war. Defense coming out from NRG.
Certainly not peak SSG from what we saw in the previous series. There were a couple good games from Space Station, but I don't think any of those games were the peak Space Station that maybe we've seen in sets past. So see if they can bring that here in this series. This could be a good start for them as that one turned away and NRG on the counter.
And that was a smart play earlier from Squishy. He was on 0 boost, but was acting like he had some. Slowed down the Space Station attack. Typical also, his shot denied. Space Station having some looks.
Gosh.
We see a bump from Garrett in the air. Sypical will get a tip, but he gets bumped off the ball. Arsenal pinching down. Up against Squishy in the corner. Reddles right behind him. Reddles.
Oh my.
Going for the dunk, and he almost did it.
I mean, that all was brought about. Justin actually missed 200 boost pads, so he kind of had a weak challenge coming off that backboard because he only had 20, so he didn't have a good approach. And honestly, Justin kind of getting bailed out by how quality of a challenge Garrett G put on that ball.
Sypical, a high hit will be saved from Justin. Rebound comes out. Squishy demos Sypical, and you see no one there. Squishy able to get the clear, uncontested.
That's a solid clear from Squishy as well. Makes Space Station turn around and collect that ball in the corner instead of instantly being able to boom it back. But here they come. Reynolds, can he put it over? He can't. Looking for follow-up. Sypical. The shot's too high. Off the crossbar. Chance spoiled for Space Station.
And was that Reynolds who did all that work to force the rebound?
Oh my goodness.
Regardless, you think that has to be a goal for Space Station.
It certainly should have been. Sypical. It's much better than that in that effort. And here comes Arsenal again. Space Station hungry for that first goal. They've been so close. And NRG picking up the pace out of defense here to get out.
They're still having to work hard, though. Bobbing and weaving. You can see Arsenal forcing Garrett G to take an awkward path to that ball. And Space Station continue to ply what is probably their greatest weapon. Off-ball pressure to make your angle of attack a quite difficult one to line up properly and execute well on.
Another shot coming out would have been wide. Justin will take it to the corner.
Oh, no.
Reddles centers it, but no one's there for Space Station. Arsenal couldn't get the follow-up touch, and speed from Justin will clear it down the corner. He's low on boost, though. Garrett trying to help out. A big flit comes out. And Justin will go for the clear. Sypical across the net. A dangerous ball. No one from Space Station in shooting position. We've seen that a couple times now. And that bounce up at 0 seconds going to keep the ball in play, but we've got a 0-0 overtime to start things out.
They were all kind of looking at Justin as he was edging up the pitch, and they're like, you know, instead of tipping this down into the middle and giving him a chance to read us, I'm just going to let that fall back.
Yeah.
My heart skipped a beat much, and I was like, oh my goodness. Just missed that touch.
Oh,
it's going to get for Justin off the post and in. NRG, 14 seconds. They'll take the first game.
Is there anybody in big moments that steps up better than Justin?
Man, I'm trying to size up how that ball even got through everybody and what possessed Justin to just get so tight on that approach. He just stormed out through the midfield, was like, yeah, it'll come out. And he put a good hit on it.
Man, look at that. Look at those stats from Space Station. 9 shots, and this one's a painful one to lose. They have plenty of games ahead of them, but that shot from Sypical absolutely should have gone in. That was the opportunity to at least have a tied game here, or let alone win this game, and this one stings if you're Space Station.
I'm with you on that one, Corelli. This was Space Station's game to put away, and Sypical, he was so good against Envy, and that shot, that was the turning point. I think everyone saw it. That was the moment where Space Station, if they score that, they're out in the lead, they're recovered, they're marching back in the second series, and this is it. This is Space Station's season coming down to this final series. Well, they cannot afford to make mistakes like that.
The good news is that you clearly had a successful game plan in game one. It just came down to put the ball in the back of the net, right? So as far as you're concerned as Space Station, do it again and see if NRG can beat you.
But how many lives do you get before you find yourself on 0? Space Station can't afford any more mistakes. Gonna have to battle back here in game 2. You see Reynolds relentlessly chasing Squishy, and Squishy still was able to get that save, and now he's got to look. He goes for the pass. Oh. Justin, too high. Space Station, catch a break.
Go for it.
I was going to say, that was a congested shot to get after, too. So for Justin to hit that one high is a bit more understandable, but man, the passing, that decision to drop that one in front of everyone, the offense and the defense, for the pass, or for the shot rather, was genius by NRG, and it almost paid off with the Justin shot.
Gave himself both options too. I mean, he disguised it very well.
Keeping everyone guessing. But NRG still walked away without a goal. Maybe Squishy would have hit that shot. We'll never know. And we've got another close ball game shaping up.
Oh, whoa, Space Station are kind of like, oh, no one's going to get that?
Good thing Reynolds was there for Space Station. That would have been a play that would have haunted you for a while in your Rocket League career. Space Station now trying to fight out of their own half. Sypical. And you see a bump, actually. It looked like Arsenal got bumped into that hit, maybe. We see a demo as well. Arsenal slowing it down. The flick stopped by Justin, using up every ounce of boost to get that beat by the defender, and it proved to be a good call.
That's slippery. The difference maker.
He's slippery on the ball today, Justin is. He's been able to work the Space Station attackers and defenders, getting out of tough spots, but also putting on good shots. Here's an opportunity again for Reynolds, looking for the block. He does get it to at least prevent the initial clear, but NRG still get away with it.
And the Chiefs, we're seeing this so much. NRG stuck on their goal line in the back, and they're finding ways to make it work.
That's exactly the point. I mean, Space Station's coming through, executing, getting the bumps, trying to get that extra space going, but Corelli said it, they're so slippery. They're getting hit, but it's after they've made the clear that they need to make to buy more time, and it's just so close to exactly what Space Station needs to happen, and NRG just finding way after way after way to get out of a tight spot.
NRG, even when they're taking hits, seems like only glancing blows. Space Station want to break through the guard, and that might be a chance. Double commit from NRG.
Wow.
Backboard pass, and Justin was there. Sypical was racing in, but he had 0 boost. Still on nothing. The boost stolen from in front of him, trying to get a good 50 out of this. And a bump from Arsenal. That actually pushes him out of position. And Arsenal's going to have to play this slow.
They had battles out in front, too, with that demo on the goal line as well. So, again, if that plays out just slightly differently, and there's Justin forcing Space Station to reset, going to go steal that corner boost as well and try and keep a nice high level of boost so they don't have to get caught chasing into the corner to stay up there in the boost game.
Oftentimes, Space Station has been sending 2 players chasing after NRG, one on the ball and then another man, but is this one just picked off by Squishy, and NRG get another one?
Wow, and you don't see this coming. You see Reynolds going for that corner boost. He's not thinking that this ball is going to be sent right back towards net, but it does.
Sypical had it. He had Squishy beat. He just missed it.
Space Station, they're not out of it just yet. But it's creeping further and further away in favor of NRG. Rebound out. Sypical in a foot race. Has Reynolds across the net and Arsenal right behind him. Arsenal has his ball stopped from being crossed by Justin. And now Garrett clearing it downfield under a minute to make something happen. Space Station have to pick up the pace. Right now, the ball's stuck in their own corner. Garrett and Squishy both there, waiting. And that's a nice touch from Reynolds, but Justin so quickly in support.
Oh, man. No, exactly what you're saying is Space Station trying so hard to get a free touch, just a space, just to get off their line, out of their box. But NRG just relentless. Garrett with almost a second touch off the crossbar. NRG are just not slowing down.
Space Station might be able to punish NRG. Lofting ball, and Sypical doesn't make contact.
Oh, it's awkward.
Oh, and Reynolds is floating there. He's just sitting all the way back. Space Station, I mean, you saw that playing through. Squishy had passed it a dime over to Garrett.
Yeah.
You think Garrett's going to score it, bangs it off the crossbar, and then the ball's floating up. Sypical has a run on it. That is just what you want if you're Space Station. And Sypical wasn't able to make the play. And we saw that a couple times in this game specifically, Corelli. Sypical in a situation where it's hinging on him. Yeah. And he wasn't able to make the play.
And I'm really happy to see an SSG tactical timeout here, because personally, I wouldn't want to wait until your final life to have to make changes, and calling it here allows your team to maybe have a couple games to see how their changes are implemented and make further ones with another game. But Achieves was talking about going into this game that SSG were playing that a good style of Rocket League that was working against NRG not 2 games ago. But I feel like at the end of this game, especially the back half of this last game, that did not come through for Space Station. NRG picked up that pace, and you could really see them start to take over. And I think it goes back to the challenge game. NRG are just in the faces of Space Station Gaming and just relentless with the pressure and challenges.
It's in their own corner where I was most impressed with the challenge game. That first half of the game was really where Space Station was still in the offensive mindset of, just keep driving the hammer at them, and eventually, you'll snap the head off the nail, right? But no, they just would not go away. And NRG's defense is really what wins that game for me, I think, just in that first half.
NRG has been flexible. And, even watching the BDS Vitality series, there's something different about the big game, the big series. And this is a team, even when they picked up Squishy, they won the Season 8 World Championship. NRG won it with Turbo. And they pick up Squishy because they wanted to build another dynasty LAN team. You even heard it in Squishy's interview. They wanted to have a team where everyone is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's winning the big games. And NRG is proving that they're able to do it right now. However, there's still a bit of life left for Space Station.
Oh, what a shot.
But this game feels like a must-win, doesn't it, Corelli?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, going down 3 games in a best-of-7 against NRG when you're already down another best-of-7 is a tall order for, I would say, any team to come back from. And NRG are certainly not going to slow down.
And look at the scorelines, 1-0, 1-0 to start things off. One play from Sypical or Reynolds or Arsenal, just that solo play could have made all the difference.
And they've been there. They've had him. They've had him, James, multiple times.
They've had the looks.
They've had the looks, and Space Station just haven't been able to convert. Like Achieves had alluded to earlier on, it was good Rocket League from Space Station. They just didn't convert. It didn't drop for them, and that's been the biggest difference.
Sypical, important read there. Massive speed from him. Sypical, no hesitation. And you saw Justin ready to blast that one in.
Out early. And that's really has probably been the biggest improvement for Sypical all weekend long. I mean, he's just been locked in on the reads department. Defense, offense, doesn't matter. The dude's been dialed in, and unfortunately here, still not enough. Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
No.
Oof.
And now, how did this happen?
Okay, so Sypical's on the wall. Garrett G just floats one. A little tester towards the net.
And Sypical bump him?
Well, Reynolds was up early.
happened?
Reynolds got out in front of the ball. Reynolds didn't actually make it in time to that touch.
Oh,
and I think Reynolds like tipped it backwards,
came
like
off
off
the crossbar to
inside
hit
of the
Reynolds.
car. Yeah, because he never actually made it to it. So Sypical never actually got a chance at it.
And I think Sypical might have ran into him.
Yeah, no. Sypical hit Reynolds. The ball came off the crossbar, bounced off Reynolds and into the net.
Wow. That is going to take wind out of your sails. Space Station, we'll see what they're going to do to respond, because you give up a play like that. And I mean, even just as a viewer, you can tell that one's going to hurt.
Get blown back right there. You're like, wait, what? Got two people on the goal line and it goes in like that?
And
yeah, especially when we're in game 3 and there's been 2 goals in the previous 2 games.
And we've been talking about, how much that hurts for Space Station, or that one's going to sting. And there's a lot of painful goals being let up or not being converted for Space Station at the moment. And like you've been talking about, 1-goal games, and that's simply been the difference. One mistake, one missed opportunity, and it's gone.
We're seeing a lot less control from Space Station in the NRG half, which seemed to have characterized the last game. 50, Squishy's out of boost. Reynolds, extra effort, but
nice fake.
Didn't work out. You see Garrett wanting to get that 50, but Sypical did a good job. However, Squishy going downfield. We're seeing a lot of the 50s taken in midair from NRG, and it has worked out wonderfully. And you see Arsenal with the missed flick.
Reynolds is backwards. Like Reynolds needs to be in a better spot right there to just stop Garrett G from getting that free clear. SSG are able to get the ball back, but when you need to put one in the back of the net, granted, you got 2 minutes. You just don't want to give up all the pressure.
Jump in that line.
Pre-jump from Justin to not let Space Station out. Space Station still do get down, and Reynolds, good work here. Slow playing it again. Now chasing Garrett in
the
net.
effort.
Jeez.
You see Squishy jumping into the boost, continuing on that challenge. NRG, they are composed on defense, but still another shot gets denied. Still NRG or SSG on the assault. How long can NRG keep this up? And a miss.
Oh no.
Justin will bail out Squishy.
Now Squishy's going to bail him out. Justin was like, I'm not ready to make a second one yet. He's going to have to, and Reynolds not going to give him a chance. Pokes it just past him to the far post. Space Station finally get it back.
That
almost seems like justice, Corelli.
Yes, that was exactly what I was about to say. There is justice for Space Station as they are able to finally break down the defense of NRG, but more importantly, that sustained pressure from Space Station is super important if they're going to win at least this game and get back into this series.
Double commit from NRG. Squishy will stay on it. Flip reset. Broken up. Arsenal clearing it down. Justin gets demoed, but he's still able to get the loft out to Garrett G, who's out of boost. Arsenal to 50. Justin beat by Reynolds.
Ooh.
Arsenal got in Sypical's way a bit.
What?
Oh, Arsenal got in Sypical's way. Sypical had a shot on that, but Arsenal could have even taken it. Somebody had to go for it.
They got Garrett G in a 1-on-2, and they just let him off the hook. Oh my goodness.
And Sypical, I think after the fact, was trying to get that fake, trying to bait that defender out, but he realized Garrett wasn't fighting.
It's too late.
And he knew what had happened.
No way.
This
Okay.
Still not over yet. Justin. Backboard hit. Arsenal, the double tap, lofts it up high. Arsenal happy to let this one touch. Big game for Space Station. NRG could move to championship point for the win here.
There's been opportunity for Space Station, and it's going to be another painful game if they were to lose it. Sypical's got to get this one away, but a good dunk from NRG, bailed out by Reynolds clear. This will at least get Space Station some space to move downfield.
Pass, Arsenal up, leaves it for Reynolds, who catches it. The shot is good! Space Station with a clutch win in Game 3.
Look at Arsenal carve him up. Fake, bye-bye. Actually, I think he might have got a little poke on that ball down to Reynolds. Ooh, either way, he just threw NRG for a big loop. and Reynolds delivered.
And I love seeing the player cams there. Reynolds just screaming, yes, the little rock in the chair says, okay, here we go. We've got it. We've got it figured out. We finally converted on a good play here. That's the Space Station Rocket League that they're going to need if they're going to take down NRG here in this series. It's a long road back, but obviously some adjustments have been made by Space Station, and they have worked here against NRG.
And Reynolds willing that victory into existence. He had to have a great first touch to keep that follow-up shot in a good position for him. And he had a great first touch, and not only that, you saw Squishy was in a very advantageous position to defend. Obviously, you don't want to be in that position as a defender, but he had a decent amount of runway and a good look at Reynolds, and Reynolds blasted that shot high. That was not as easy as it looks to be that surgical in a high-pressure situation. Reynolds came to play.
And to me, that game was really, disaster avoidance, right?
Yeah.
To stop yourself on the edge of the cliff, kind of waving your arms, trying to hold your balance. And Space Station finally brought all the way back. They got, as you said, justice for what's been some pretty good pressure. NRG, they can stop a lot, but they can't stop everything. And it took a nice play from Arsenal and Reynolds to execute it. So going into game 4, I think Space Station, I'm wondering if it's a communication issue, right? Because I just keep running back that 2v1 against Garrett G, where just nobody went for it. And
I'm like, bump with Reynolds and Sipical, that was a known goal.
Is it you guys not communicating or communicating too much, or what's going on? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. It's a good point. There's been a lot of shooting yourself in the foot moments for Space Station, whether it's on offense or defense here. And they're still in it. And like we've been alluding to, they've been creating a lot more chances, but they're going to need many more here in the next few games.
And for Space Station, that was a must-win game, and they did it. Oh, and you see a miscommunication there. Squishy still recovered.
Almost turned it into something.
Making the best out of a bad situation. Arsenal, wraparound pass, big boom up. Justin, he's there. The shot will be high. Gets the rebound off the post.
I just want to go back to that first touch from Justin. I mean, it's not often you go up for a redirect and then end up twisting your car all the way back around to buy the extra time to catch it off the back quarter panel and then give yourself a line towards the follow-up. Oh, it was good, but unfortunately...
I was looking at that play and I'm thinking, he might shoot at first. Double demo. Situation where Justin's got to be last.
There it is. There it is.
No hope. 3v1. SSG, this is what we expected them to do.
It is the bread and butter of SSG. Getting the demo on Squishy opens up just that space between the ball and the box to pass it across to the right side. And, of course, having a finisher there in Sipical to put it away. That is textbook Space Station Rocket League.
NRG now on their back foot, and a skip will send it high. Justin will get back to defend it. Rebound out to Reynolds, and Reynolds denied. Justin, perfect on his boost switch. And another save from Justin, who could use a little bit of boost. He says, guys, please, someone, take a shot.
There we go. He'll use Reynolds to kick that ball back to the Space Station. Have a wild couple of defensive sequences for NRG, and honestly, it feels like you're continuing from the start of the series. Space Station, good pushes, and it's NRG having to play some stingy defense to hold them off.
Things are looking up for Space Station. The aggressor so far in game 4.
See if they can keep riding this type of momentum. It's a good challenge win by Reynolds as well. And looking for the demo there. He gets it. Space opens up, but the touch too heavy from Reynolds. Squishy right it all the way. And NRG get bailed out.
Garrett is going to go for this ball again. Hard bounce off the arc, but Arsenal well positioned to handle it. Justin out of boost now. See what he can do. It's blocked a demo now. Garrett, his third man, pushed the ball upfield, and now a big boom. Garrett, leave that for Squishy now. Looking for his opportunity to come into the play. Sees the 50, kicked out to Justin. Justin controls the fake off the corner, forces the defender to jump. Reynolds in net will get the save. Justin, the corner boost, or the mid boost rather, picking it up. Weaving his way around the net.
No way.
90!
It's Justin.
Bye-bye.
versus Space Station Gaming in this series, and he's just carving through the defense once again. Another highlight play for Justin.
I need a shower.
You know, Justin, he is an artist. These goals, they're beautiful.
It's impressive because, I mean, half of that dribble is reactionary. It's what has the defense given me?
Yeah.
And in the fraction of a second, he's made the perfect touch to set himself up for success. It's truly something to behold.
I mean, to get that many touches in a threes game with everyone in front of you, let alone a pro threes game, is just unreal. To get through each one, because a lot of times when you beat the first man, it opens up space for the next man to challenge, and it's over. But Justin somehow has this uncanny ability to keep not only possession on the ball, stay close to it, but then beat the first man, the second man, and sometimes even the third man.
Oh, she's the tap down. Justin won't be able to clean it up. Now counterattack ball, Sypical. 50 by Justin. Garrett. The ball kick out to Justin. Arsenal up early. The demo, Sypical, awkward situation.
Yeah,
he doesn't get the hit. Corner boost steal from Squishy. Garrett will turn. A demo, the ball lobbed towards net. Reynolds will be able to recover and hits it to open space.
There's that, yeah. And look at Reynolds. He left that ball because that's another Space Station classic. Get out in front of it. Let your teammate behind you pick it up on the dribble. And NRG going to have to fight Space Station off the ball here pretty soon. And thankfully, a small gap opened up. Arsenal not wanting to get too aggressive with a tie game, with 20 seconds left. You'd rather see OT than take a risky challenge like that.
Space Station, you see Arsenal diving in for the demo. It's going to open up a chance for Garrett to dribble it out. Pops it over Arsenal. Garrett, no way. Garrett, the flick will be denied. Squishy to the back with the bomb. The double tap. Squishy is blocked by Arsenal. He says, not this time.
Just barely didn't have enough boost to get back to. He had 21 after his first touch. He did get the touch, but just not enough to get by the defense. Another highlight play for NRG that almost was. And we're into overtime.
Another dire situation for Space Station, but if they win this in overtime,
right back in.
You just start to see. You see the world that could come into existence. Space Station hold off this attack. Squishy in the corner. Reynolds tips it right back out. Squishy will stay on it. To commit from Space Station in the corner. Garrett has it bounce out. Sypical to Garrett. Garrett gets another tap.
Nice. Oh, the slowdown. I love that from Reynolds. He knows there's no need to force a counterattack here. Make sure we're set up properly, but unfortunately they all miss it. Squishy is off. He needed help. Squishy didn't actually have a line towards the net. He just hit the ball too hard.
And he had backup. The pace was too much.
Oh.
Crush that.
Space Station get away with one. See if they make the most of it.
Extra life. And that's where you really make your money as a pro team, right? Your other team gives you a free extra life. More often than not, it comes back to bite you.
And that's when you maybe throw in a quick chat here and there. Oh, the moves around. Garrett gets the center, but it's cleared out to Reynolds. Reynolds towards net. Squishy racing back will get the tip. Arsenal off the ceiling. Makes Garrett miss. Justin challenged. NRG struggling to get boost. They're going to have to find a way to hold on. Justin had the corner, but he gets demoed. Squishy lobs it downfield.
Space Station, they were doing well to move the ball, but no one keeping a hold of it. That was a big miss by Reynolds again. Then a few times he just completely whiffs it on the defensive side, but bailed out. Space Station, like I was saying, they're doing a good job of moving the ball around. Just that final touch on target isn't coming now. NRG sometimes completely scrambled. This one played off the back wall, and Garrett will land on it.
And smart from Garrett. You saw him never let go of boost. A nice tip from Arsenal. The shot saved. Rebound up from Sypical. And it's a save from Justin. The chance to end it. Justin stood in the way. Sypical Came within inches of closing that one out. Now Squishy, his double tap denied.
Oh my goodness. Both sides having huge opportunity to end this overtime. Coming up on 3 minutes now of extra time. And you can't say they didn't have their chances. Here's another one for Space Station, but the pass just a bit too far past Reynolds.
The threatening passes achieves. We're seeing them for Space Station. One of them's bound to go in.
Those lanes opening up a little bit more because the game has transitioned into this launch the ball far down the pitch, and that's really going to spread the field, and all it takes is one good catch in the midfield, and you know Space Station's good at that game. As a double commit here from NRG, they're not going to have too much pressure going forward. Definitely going to have to give the ground here, and Reynolds to Arsenal. Arsenal is probably going to be looking for Sipical after he gets through everybody here.
Arsenal calm under pressure. Reynolds back up high. Reynolds looks like he might have been hunting for Justin, but Justin was expecting it.
Bad clear.
Long clear. Arsenal is going to have a look on it.
There.
The pass
That's
down,
decent.
and Garrett got in the shooting lane.
What a block from Garrett just to hop in front of that. That ball was played past him. There's just no chance of him getting it initially.
Yeah. Chance
Garrett
to
knew
close here
that was
for
the
NRG.
best chance.
This is a good. Oh, there's the double demo as well. Justin is gonna get blown up. Arsenal knew Space Station, a small gap, just by proxy of sometimes you do eventually have to let go off the gas. You got to go get boost eventually. And NRG won the couple of challenges they needed to, and what a touch from Arsenal. Oh my
The
goodness.
boldness. Lob off the backboard. Garrett goes for the far post. Oh, what? Garrett G! The precision strike in overtime.
I can't believe this one was let in. Arsenal on the backflip means he's not prepared for the shot. Typical just doesn't get the read, and Reynolds isn't back.
It's just edging forward. Typical's just sucked into the ball. I mean, he rotated back post.
Awkward.
He had a line and everything, and then he just pulled himself forward into the middle of the net right as Garrett G put it back post. Momentum gets the better of him, and NRG survived the free chance they gave Space Station and hold him off.
I mean, that game, that was a coin flip. We saw Space Station with some great looks. Sipical had another game-winning shot that he was not able to score. Justin, credit to him. He was predicting where the shot was going to come, but still, if you're Sipical, if you hit that shot, your team is now in a position to win this series. And now it seems like it might be out of reach. There's still time. There's still time. I'm not calling it early, but Space Station, they've had these moments so far, Corelli, where more times than not, they've not been able to step up in these big moments. They did it last game. Weren't able to do it here.
It's the finish line that they're struggling to cross right now. And a lot of times they're winning the race. I mean, they're the first ones to the ball. They're the first ones to have a good shot, and they're the ones creating great opportunities. And we mentioned it a couple times where Space Station we felt like they were taking over the game and they were outplaying NRG.
Absolutely.
But again, it just comes back to the little things, whether it's mistakes on defense or not converting on offense. Those are what have come back to bite, because we've said it multiple times now. These have been very, very close games, and it's those little difference makers that add up over time.
You know, honestly, I think Space Station has had more quality possession than NRG throughout this series.
Definitely agree.
Oh my!
It's just that, and
you get the massive play. You get the massive play from NRG on offense, and then that defense is just flexible enough to handle all the different looks that Space Station's handling it. It really is requiring a truly pop-off offensive game from NRG. It's not like they're just out here, passing on everyone. It's some inspired goal-scoring chances being required for NRG to get on the board most often than not.
Yeah, both teams are playing with such pace that you're operating in such a small window of opportunity, and you don't have much time to think about it or to aim. On Garrett beats the third man again.
And it's another massive gap between the play and the last man in Space Station, and NRG poke it free once again. Justin had one of these earlier. Squishy, I think, had one as well. Garrett getting in the mix, and NRG, another go-ahead goal 1 minute into play.
And you wonder if Sipical knew where he was on the field. Garrett put that where you would expect Sipical to block it. The ball went to Sipical's left, and still almost was why Typical needed to get between the net and the ball in that situation. I just don't know if he knew exactly where he was on the field. And now another shot coming in will be denied. Arsenal has it out to Typical. Typical chance to make amends. Gets bumped off the ball. And Garrett will clear it out to the side. Arsenal with the catch. Had no time to take the shot. Justin able to boom it down, and now a corner pass. Reynolds up early. Leads Typical. Typical going for the backboard, and Garrett will clear it out. And this could be it. NRG, if this scoreline holds, will be the North American champions for RLCS X.
Got a long way to go before you get there, though. As you said at the start, Space Station, a lot of quality looks and pressure throughout the series. Unfortunately there, the shot right down the middle, and a fairly easy save for NRG, but still having to work overtime really to get out of their own half. And oh my goodness, how in the world does that not go in, as Arsenal going to make a follow-up save? Space Station Gaming working a little magic on the goal line.
The fight is still there as Typical denies yet another shot from NRG. Space Station not giving up just yet. They've got less than half the game to go. Garrett Farpool denied by Typical.
And the pace of play picking up. Space Station on the counter, and Justin makes a save on the left side of his goal. That was a good look for Space Station after feeling so much of the pressure from NRG.
End-to-end attacks, one after another. Typical gets blocked. Back to Arsenal. Justin gets beat badly on that 50, but a bump comes out at the midfield. Arsenal, the weak shot. And Garrett cleared out, but Typical be able to go airborne off the ceiling, loses possession.
Gosh.
And NRG will take over.
Justin just reading this game immaculately. He's going to stall it out in the midfield for Garrett G to come through and do this to him.
And again, a mistake on the Space Station side, just kind of giving the ball away for free. Typical not getting a hold of it. Garrett's going to take advantage. A great flip reset over the last man. But that's what happens when you give the ball up in midfield. NRG are going to take advantage. You know Garrett behind the ball in that situation. It's a solo play every time.
The G stands for Guru, and he's a guru of flip resets. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nobody better at scoring flip resets than Garrett G. Miss
space.
Garrett G, another chance. Gets bumped off the ball. Arsenal with time. Tips it up to Reynolds. Reynolds back to the middle. A mistake. Backboard bounce. Squishy. The shot right at Reynolds.
Yeah, he was a sit duck. He had no boost there. He's lucky that one just came right at him. He was flat-footed. No boost. Would have been impossible for him to get any shot anywhere else aside from at him.
Under 60 seconds left to go. Space Station fighting for their season lives. Reynolds with the catch. 1v1.
Ooh, he dropped it. He had the right idea, honestly. He had everything set up perfectly, and he was going for the shot to the top right corner. Justin cut it down. He had Typical on the outside edge, and you'll never know if it's going to make a difference. Wow. Justin going to close it down.
And
you're seeing the writing on the wall, Corelli.
That might just be enough here. 37 seconds left. 3-goal lead now for NRG. They've taken advantage of the mistakes and the missed opportunities from Space Station, and they're in the lead comfortably.
Now or never for Space Station. Reynolds catching it. The chip denied. This one might go the distance. Typical off the backboard. Rebound out to Justin. The low shot denied by Reynolds. Space Station not giving up yet. The shot will weave its way through. Garrett wants to finish this championship with a hat trick.
And it's all smiles on the NRG side. Everyone giggling and laughing over there on the left side of your screen. Happy to see that one drop. 4-0 now, 13 seconds left, and NRG certainly going to take it.
These final seconds of formality. NRG, Space Station, you knew it would be a battle. And there you have it. The marathon of RLCS X is over, and NRG crossed the finish line as champions.
What a phenomenal ride this set has been for the general NRG. Oh my goodness. It was a grand final that truly required both sides of the ball to be on point. Space Station threw everything they could possibly think of at that NRG defense, and it just refused to break. I mean, when you've got those three players in Red Typical and Arsenal pressuring you, it is not easy to stay composed, let alone in the final game put up what? 18 shots? It's like, it's insane. Like, how do you work your way out of that many tough situations on defense and run down to the other side of the pitch and score as many goals as you do? What a show from NRG.
Unbelievable season and year from NRG. The move to bring Squishy in proved to be the right one. They win it all. NRG are your RLCS X champions.